Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bumps we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting all magnetic fields and interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube and fade to black, here the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual, Clarence 13X, a worthy guess. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North Mex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson.
The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers. Fabric softener, jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch stores type. For that soft white, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like Porsche lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, the scorched type. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost they souls, niggas got holes in they feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descendant of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Bless.
Crumb TV.
Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bumps we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting all magnetic fields and interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube and fade to black, here the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual, Clarence 13X, a worthy guess. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North Mex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson.
The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers. Fabric softener, jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch stores type. For that soft white, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like Porsche lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, the scorched type. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost they souls, niggas got holes in they feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descended of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Best.
Crumb TV.
Peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Welcome to a special episode of WTF Wednesday. Tonight is Money is a Major Issue featuring Brother Red Pill. I have special guests in the building. We are here to build with y'all family. We have some great announcements today. We are going to be building about the upcoming event that we have this strongin' entitled what? 72 Claws. Miami, acronym, money is a major issue, featuring our good brother HERU, OFORI, ATTA, Brother Red Pill as your host, Brother HITSUYO, the Sovereign Architect, Brother Spin City, and our headliner, the original Black God, ladies and gentlemen. This one is for the record books. This one is going to be online only, ladies and gentlemen, and we will explain exactly why it will be online only. And then immediately after that, next week in Houston, we have a solution featuring the good brother Red Pillar. We have Mansa Isa Muhammad. We have our good brother Spin City also in the building. Might have our good brother Hit. I'm not sure. We're going to talk to him about that. We also have Pop Darby, our brother Talik Heru, and that one is going to be very heavy for the business entrepreneurs. This one coming up Friday is for all of my creatives, all of my, the sound effects is dropping bombs. Yeah, my bad. Damn, bombs. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So this Friday, we are going to be introducing a panel of brothers Friday over the course of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For this course that we are going to be doing, we are going to be focusing on our creative faculties. We are going to be focusing on our creative faculties, such as our intellectual property. We're going to be working with our good brother HITSUYO on branding. We're going to be working with our good brother Spin City on marketing. We're going to be working with our good brother HERU on wealth, on investments, and also on health. We have H Factor in the building. He's going to be talking about KTL Plus. He's also going to be talking about the Farming Army. Man, it's so much that we have lined up. We are so happy to roll this out. It took a lot to put this together, but we finally have the itinerary and the agenda, and we want to roll it out and we want to present it to you. Shout out to all of the 72 nobles, the family that signed up to the clause when we were in North Carolina. Keep in mind, we're looking for 72 nobles. We got about 15 already and whatnot, but we're looking for some more. So we are going to be hitting the road, traveling, moving around, tapping in with the family all around the quote unquote 50 states until we find what we're looking for. Let's go ahead and do a roll call. Let's see who's in the building, and then we'll get on with the program and whatnot. And yeah, we'll take it from there. Shout out to Miss Lakeisha in the building. Peace, peace. All right. Is it in person? It is going to be online. We have a boot camp. We'll be online. This one is not IRL, but the one in Houston will be in IRL. Yes. This is only online. This will be live streamed. This is for the online family. The one coming up this weekend, but the one in Houston, June the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th, that will be in person, and that will be in Houston. Thailand is in the building. Shout out to Thailand. Shout out to Vegas. Shout out to DMV in the building. All right. Yes.
Ranch
Shout out
Cucamongo. Hey.
Ranch Cucamongo in the building. All right, salute. I gotta say a special shout out to everybody who came through last night to Spin City headquarters. It was a movie in here. We had the time of our lives and whatnot. It's nothing better than just being around lovely people with great energy, and at the same time, you're able to teach, you're able to build, and we're able to teach people on the internet. You know what I mean? In real time and whatnot, all around the world. I know y'all felt the energy through the screen. So yes, shout out to everybody because y'all might not even have realized it, but it was a monsoon out here. It was a storm unlike anything that was going on all yesterday, but people still managed to come through and pack the house. So I want to say shout out to all of y'all. Very dedicated, very locked in, and y'all about y'all business. Camden, New York in the building. Buffalo, New York in the building. Griselda. You know? Look. You was up until 3 a.m. on that Obsidian in Notebook, LA.
Yeah, had them cooking on that Obsidian.
Cooking. I could concur because Obsidian had your boy up to about 5 a.m. right?
Mm-hmm.
I might have passed out while I was talking. But yeah, I was definitely locked in. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, kinetic knowledge will have you up to 5 and 6 a.m. When it's not kinetic, you get the information, it sounds good, you're firing off dopamine, and then you go to sleep in a stupor and nothing gets done. This information, the minute that you get it, you log on and you get busy. You're on that road to doing things, building things, creating things, inventing things, manifesting things, right? Kinetic knowledge. Shout out to the good brother HERU. Okay? We got Philly in the building. Shout out to Philly in the building. Duval. All right. Shout out to the Duval. Shout out to the Duval family. Okay, now we have Greensboro in the building. Shout out to Greensboro. Shout out to MIA in the building and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to the family. Shout out to Maryland in the building. Oh wait, they gave me this. Okay, is this broadcasting through Know the Ledger 444? Are we live on Know the Ledger 444? It looked like we live on both. Hallelujah. Minneapolis. They have my shit on Frosington. So if we back in the building, that's beautiful. God is good. Yes, they say, yeah, God is good. You know what I'm talking about? God is good. Yes, they try to stop the shot. Charleston in the building. Shout out to Charles. I think it's the feather. I'm tapped in. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, we had a beautiful show today, earlier with HERU. You know what I mean? Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. We had a beautiful show today, early this rising, with Brother HERU, Wealthy Wednesdays. He was talking his talk, you know, putting them receipts up, getting everybody focused, you feel me? And just talking pure logic that makes sense to the most illogical person. You know, water is wet, right? You know what I'm talking about? You know, fire is hot. So the brother makes it very plain. And I said we were having a conversation. Shout out to my brother Ankara out of Jacksonville. He's the one who coined the phrase, the calm system, right? The calm system. Um, the nervous system regulates so much of our bodies. We don't really give it as much credit as it deserves and whatnot. But there's something about regulating your nervous system and operating off of a frequency, right? There's a specific frequency, and people are real good at mimicking things in life. But something that you really can't mimic is a frequency. You know what I'm saying? Either you have a frequency or you don't. And the brother's frequency is very calming. Okay, he's in charge. He has mastery over his quote unquote nervous system, to the point where he's operating from his calm system. And you can tell when somebody is in a certain type of state. So the brother HERU, even when he speaks, when he demonstrates and whatnot, it's with such a calm and a grace, you know. And for those that are seeking some type of example of what it looks like when you reach a certain type of level, look no further into the brother's demonstration, because he's showing you in real time what it is, what it looks like when you're able to regulate your nervous system and just basically be in your being in a state of calmness. Okay? So yes. Yeah, you said flow state, theta waves. D. Okay, he said he's archiving, brother HERU, transcribing the videos and putting it into Obsidian for your agent to get busy with the information. Super facts. Wow. I saw today that Robin Hood. Did you see that? That Robin Hood, the app, the stock trading app, is actually going to allow agents to not only trade, but to use wallets and to use quote unquote accounts, right? So there's a shift taking place even in the financial world, where they have so much trust and so much quote unquote, not what we said. This is what Jamie Dixon and JP Morgan and the people at the people at these banks and whatnot, even on Wall Street, they said that, we're going to start using agents to actually trade finances. This is no longer a hobby of people who are on. This is no longer something that the nerds are doing on GitHub. This is going into Fortune 500, Fortune 100 institutions and things of that nature. So the same way that they're able to create agents that can trade on Wall Street and through Robinhood, obviously they're scraping the top information of some of the top traders and whatnot. And they know, they have aggregated a certain amount of data that is very rich. You know what I'm saying? They've been able to filter out all of the losing patterns, right? And they train these agents, and now these agents are taking over the jobs of the people who were paid a lot of money in Wall Street and a lot of money in some of these firms. I know they're nervous right now. God damn it. The bots are coming for your job, Wolf of Wall Street. You know? So with them doing things like that, I feel that it's time for us to do things like build our version of a super agent based off of some of the cream of the crop of information and data that we can obtain. You know what I mean? We're in a different market. We might not be in the financial market of Wall Street and whatnot. We're more in the intelligentsia market of a global diaspora, because people that look like us are writing books, treatises, theorems all around the world. It's not just relegated to right here. So in France, in Africa, in the Caribbean and whatnot, not even in this lifetime, there's books that were written in the 1400, the 1500, the 16, 17, 18. Remember those books that we used to read, and it had so much Latin and it had French and then it had some German in it, and it was all of these different languages. Some of these books were so far advanced that I remember getting migraines and just putting them down like no mas. Now we could pick those books back up, translate them, and be able to build an agent based off of some of that quote unquote arcane knowledge and whatnot, some of the formulas that the Moors were working on, some of the mathematical problems and whatnot that they were contemplating on when they were in Cordoba. We could start picking things like that back up and then applying that into solutions. So shout out to everybody who picked up on the Obsidian play. I'm going to go ahead and start opening up the floor for some of the guests that we're going to have in the building tonight. And we're going to get into a very interesting conversation and drop a lot of game for those that are out here that are picking up the jewels that are being dropped. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring to you our good brother, none other than HITSUYO, our cool in the building.
Yeah.
Clap it up, y'all. Clap it up. Clap it up. Clap it up.
Yo, live and direct from the mothership. This not gonna be on some other shit. It's HITSUYO, the sovereign identity architect at your service. Orewa, Hakugachi translation. I'm built different. Different as fuck, y'all. What's good, family? What's good? You know what it is. 72 claws. Money is a major issue. We out in Miami. They don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all know. That's my little neck of the woods. That's where I grew up. The Tri-County area, Palm Beach, Broward County, Miami-Dade County. That is South Florida. That's where I grew up.
Kendall.
Huh?
Kendall.
Yeah, all them areas. Particularly grew up in Broward County, Florida. So it's real good to be able to go back to my old stomping grounds and be able to deliver such high grade, bleeding edge systems thinking and technological implementation. I mean, what can be better than being a technocrat right now? You see what I'm saying? What can be better?
Right. What's a better flex right
What's
now?
a better flex right now?
Than being able to code some shit.
Yeah, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. So I'm definitely happy to see that the Obsidian play landed the way that it needed to. Of course, you know my brand is hella Obsidian coded. I'm definitely a Tezcatlipoca Black Mirror kind of nigga. So the fact that Obsidian has been such a major play in my own creative development for the past, when did I get into Obsidian? I would say 2022. I got into Obsidian, and that's before all the agentic coding and everything really took over, right? So I've been using it as a part of my creative system for a long time, but then being able to leverage it as a part of my development in this new agentic era has just been an absolute game changer. So really being able to bring that second brain theory to you all, that second brain theorem to you all, so that we all can start understanding just how valuable your knowledge is. You know what I'm saying? One of the examples I gave in the room was origami. Origami. All of this data is just files and folders, right? It's just sheets of paper, right? But those sheets of paper don't tell a story until you begin to fold and manipulate the data in certain ways that create a shape. You see what I'm saying? It's just a sheet of paper until it's not, until it's a swan or a frog or a fox or a really cool paper airplane. Don't matter. You see what I'm saying? Like all of these things exist because we took the raw information on that blank sheet of paper,
Right.
and we started manipulating that information into a shape, into a form that was meaningful, right? Tool, expression, identity, meaning. That is the primal ontological loop.
Right.
That's crazy. Yeah. Hey, these late night streams be hilarious.
Late night, man. They come out.
Late night streams be hilarious. So that's what we on, y'all. That's what we talking about. That's what we giving up for today. We just really making sure that y'all understand that this AI game is a lot easier than you think.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier than you think for the non-technical, the non-coder to actually get involved with it. Can you write notes? Can you speak regular English? Can you clearly explain your thought?
Right.
Can you describe what it is that you want out of a task, like the final output? Because if you can do just those simple things, you are actually much further ahead in the game than you think. These systems only have to get complicated if you want them to. There's a bunch of things that can be done with a hammer that you aren't aware of because you're not using a hammer. So why not just start simple?
Right.
Why not just start with an easy stack that makes it simple and fast and repeatable and actually a little fun for you to do the work, right? Obsidian represents the knowledge memory layer of that stack. Then you have your, your Claude codes, your anti-gravities, your codexes that act as your workbench, right? What did I say all this work boils down to? Files and folders. If you were in a corporate office, what would all this shit boil down to? Files and folders.
Facts.
What is your office if not one big ass filing cabinet?
Facts.
Hello. So the Claude Codex, the anti-gravities of the world, these agentic platforms that we've been talking about this whole time. They've been telling you all about these things for the past year on Techno Tuesdays, right? You use those platforms to start taking your raw ideas that exist in your knowledge bank, right? Your knowledge graph, your personal Wikipedia. That's what Obsidian becomes, right? So you take that raw knowledge and you start making useful things out of it. You start making business ideas, revenue generating systems out of those raw ideas. Because again, what is AI if not an amazing pattern recognizer? It can notice the value inside of all of your scattered data. It knows how to bend and fold the information like origami. What we say, folders. Fold her. I don't even know her. God damn. Right? So that's what it all comes down to. So then, like I said, you have Obsidian as your memory knowledge layer. You have your agentic platforms, your chat windows that can code and make files, right? You have that as your workbench. And then you have GitHub as your office. Someone just said office manager. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Because as creative entrepreneurs, the thing that I know for a fact that you find most annoying about trying to monetize what you do is the one thing that actually makes it monetizable, the admin and the logistics.
Right. So now that we've kind of fixed that bottleneck, and they've created not just not one, not two, not three. They've created multiple suites, and they created layers and whatnot. So they created automation, right, to help with menial tasks. They created agentic AI to kind of like do the heavy lifting and what they used to be the sweat equity. Then they've created APIs to connect certain things together to take away hours of what would be labor, sweat equity, human labor, brain fog, computation, and everything. And then they've created a way to monetize things because the agent, like I said, could take the credit card and go do things for you, purchase things for you, sell things for you. It is kind of like it's a lot going on at the same time, and I don't think enough people have put it in that perspective. They're not saying what's taking place, and they're not telling people the opportunities that are literally staring them in their face. Because like Hit said, let's say that you said this is all about being an office manager, because this whole thing bogs down to folders and whatnot. It's a folder-based, structured type of foundational apparatus, right? This whole thing is built on foundational data or structured information that was fed to the computer in a way that you train employees, in a way if you work in HR and you know about training, if you work in education and you know about training, anywhere in corporate America you had to deal with SOPs and you had to deal with on-job training. This is the exact same thing. If you got let go of corporate America and you had a skill of office manager, a skill of any type of management, project management, or anything, you now could literally sit in front of any one of these tools, whether it be Claude, whether it be Grok, whether it be GPT, whether it be Gemini, and you literally could reverse engineer anything, create anything, and monetize the knowledge that you inherently have.
There you go. There you go. And then we combine that with the play that Google dropped on May 15th about AI search. And what did they say, y'all? Commodity content. You want to know who the hell been talking about not being a fucking commodity this whole time?
Facts, receipts. Come on.
It was your boy. You want to know what you remember how I started talking about all that ontology? Niggas like, what is ontology?
Ontology.
I feel you.
I've heard that word so much in the last 6 months.
And then Palantir came out and said, "Oh yeah, we charge it 50 million a pop to help businesses with their what? Ontology."
Right.
Huh?
Their layer.
Oh, okay. Because and then when you really listen to what Palantir was saying, it was like, oh yeah, these businesses don't know the nouns, verbs, and actions that define their function in the market.
Right.
They have all this data, but the data ain't really doing nothing because the data don't actually know what it is. The data is not self-aware.
Data's not self-aware, and they're not aware of the lexicon, so they don't know how to talk to the data. They don't know how to activate the data, but the people at NVIDIA do, the people at Anthropic do, the people at OpenAI and Amazon do. And then all of the other companies, all the IBMs and all of them are playing catch up. Even Apple to that degree, they're playing catch up on lexicon, terms and ways of thinking and whatnot. When this group or this loop, right, that's that AI loop that you see with all of these people who are friends sending billions and trillions of dollars amongst each other, they kind of develop the new language. They're the ones that are ahead because they're developing the new languages and using the new languages to develop new tools, new ways of doing things. Just staying ahead of the comp.
That one right there, I want to say something to that because again, all of this knowledge that we see is AI, that we see is coding, that we see is computer science, right? All of this shit is deeply ancestral. We started that. So when you say, yo, my ears was ringing, even though I wasn't used to that info, yeah, you are. You're a lot more used to that info than you think because your ancestors used to offload their cognitive data into crystal skulls.
That's right.
Well, goddamn it. Second brain theory. Y'all want to get serious with me? Y'all really want to talk about the real ontological nature of what we're discussing? Have you seen the Mayan calendar? You want to know what that is? That's an astrological compiler. That's a computer program.
Facts.
It's all just data.
Facts.
It is all just data. So that's what I really want y'all to understand about what we presented last night and just why we're so on fire because it started to click. It started to click on certain levels. All of our data, all of our human experience came together in such a way and we were able to fold the space and we came out with some organic origami. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we really brought out, the fact that you can store your knowledge. You don't have to remember everything. Save that data. Actively work with it. As a neurodivergent, I have ADHD, you see what I'm saying, quote unquote, whatever the case may be, right? One of the things I deal with is active memory. One of the issues that your computer deals with is active memory. If you want to run some of these LLM models locally and you don't have a GPU, you have to run that off the RAM. And RAM is the random access memory. It's the using working memory of the computer, right? You can't just have 50 million apps open and expect that thing to, just like Red was saying, yo, that thing gonna fall asleep in a stupor, right? You have to manage how that memory is used in order to not burn out your computer.
Right. As you can see, how people are having issues with token usage, with Claude and everything. Usage limits come back at 9:30 and all of that is because they'll run a prompt, not realizing they have all of this stuff attached to those prompts, and it's running. Let's say that you have a context window and you were talking to Claude for like an hour or two, and then you asked it another question at the bottom of that context window. It's running the whole entire the thread of that conversation every single time you prompt it, and that's burning a ton of tokens. So yeah, there's many ways, many GitHub repos that will be able to minimize your token usage. But ladies and gentlemen, in the building, we have one of our special guests for tonight that will join us. That is going to be one of our dynamic, powerful, earth-shattering, life-changing presenters. A brother who has already changed many lives by coming through on this platform in the past few months and whatnot. He's already shifted the paradigm and dropped more receipts than Walmart on the weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you our good brother, none other than HERU OFORI ATTA in the building. Peace and salute, my good brother. Yes, salute, brother, man.
Yeah, man. Pleasure to be here, you know?
Yes. Pleasure to have you. Honors always. I believe that this is the first time that you are getting to meet the good brother HITSUYO Aku. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Yes, sir.
A good brother of Jamaican descent, might I add. But hold on, let me give him the mic.
Yeah, I definitely got a chance to listen in to some of the conversation you were having in the last live. I was blown away at just the quality, the smoothness, the suave, sleek feature with which he was able to dispel all of that financial investor knowledge that usually to me sometimes just be kind of boring. I was able to really sit, listen, and really grasp what was going on, and to the point where it was so masterfully delivered that it could almost go over your head how casually he's throwing around these numbers and the multiplier revenues, and like it was amazing, y'all. So definitely make sure y'all are tapping in. Money is a major issue, and brother HERU here, it's not an issue for him. I think he's figured out some things that we could all definitely learn from and begin to implement at whatever level we are at. And again, he makes it really easy to just walk into that world and not feel out of place. That was the big thing for me. So less about introducing me, more about giving you all the flowers you deserve as we move into this 7 and 2 clause Miami.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure to meet you, you know? Good to see the youth really, coming up inside of this thing called artificial intelligence in this new world that we're embarking upon, you know?
Yeah, don't know. Upper bring this one. God, still.
In real time. So, like, from time to time, right? Within historical developments, whenever you have technology shifts, it's typically the youth who get a firmer grip and understanding over the elders, right?
Yes.
Now, what is really interesting about this moment is that traditionally in society, it is the elders who lead the way. But many times you have a seismic shift within that paradigm of elders leading the way when you have new technology where older people are stuck in their ways. They're used to what they're doing, They're used to taking elevators with people conducting the elevator. So if you tell them they can, they should press the button, it's something new to them. It's something that they don't really have any muscle memory for. So from time to time within historical developments, we have situations where the youth are leading the way. And many times it's the quality of the youth who lead the way, because without the guidance of adults, you get a situation called Lord of the Flies, right? If you're familiar with Lord of the Flies, where
they just did the remix.
Yeah. It's
I don't want to cut your wisdom, brother HERU, but we have another guest in the building, and he also represents the new era of young elders who are shining their light and doing the work. So I do want to bring on the stage so he can receive some of this information that you're disseminating. Another good brother from another mother, alumni, KTL alumni, a KTL all-star, a mastermind, and my good brother, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to the stage the one and only Mansa Isa Muhammad. Peace.
Peace. Honors and appreciation. Alaykum salam. Peace to all the family and all of the legends and the elders that are giving this information out. Honored to be amongst you guys.
Okay, so honors, my brother, and I just got a call from my executive producer. We're gonna switch the whole title of today's show and probably even the workshop we're doing, and it's gonna switch into Black Men Skincare.
Cause yo,
Because you and his brother HERU and Mansa, they said that y'all gonna headline the new boot camp about men's skincare. Because y'all gonna help us with the ashy skin learn how to make it glow. What's going on here, guys?
Oh man.
Yeah. Let's get the routine, guys.
Well, I
Hey,
mean, to keep it real, like all skin problems are blood problems.
Okay.
So typically, if you have a blood infection, it will show up in the skin. And so most of the skin issues that you see are blood issues. And so it's very good to engage in anti-inflammatory practices in terms of the inputs that you put into your body. One of the if you're really interested in good health, one of the things that you could do immediately is stop consuming vegetable oils. Like that's a key, because these vegetable oils have linoleic acid, and they're highly inflammatory. And so every time you're consuming them, you're increasing the inflammatory pool in your body. And if you have an infection, it's going to feed the inflammation. And so sugar would be the next thing. And anybody with acne would be able to tell you, anytime they eat greasy food, they get outbreaks. And anytime they eat sugar, they get outbreaks. So therefore, you've already got something in your body that's reacting to inflammatory inputs. So you take out the inflammatory inputs, and you start cleaning up your blood in the form of certain herbs are good in cleaning the blood. Olive leaf extract is very good in cleaning the blood. Black seed oil is good in cleaning the blood. Turmeric is good in cleaning the blood. Artemisia nua. All of these things are also anti-parasitics. And once you do that, you'll find that your skin will clear up and you'll get youthful looking skin. And as a last point, anyone who's got a chronic skin problem, whether it's from skin cancer to acne to fungal infections, you can get ivermectin cream. And you can get ivermectin cream from Tractor Supply. And any skin problem that you have, try the ivermectin cream and see what happens. And then you can thank me later.
Definitely.
That's it.
Indeed.
Yes, indeed. So I do want my brother Mansa Isa Muhammad to introduce himself, and then we do have to pick up on the Lord of the Flies. I want to have that bill, my good brother.
For sure. I'm, as the brother Red introduced me as, Mansa Isa Muhammad. And, I've known the brother Red Pill for probably 20 years now on the dot, since like 2006. And, I've just been in the community, helping out people. But, I've had several businesses over the years. And right now, my current business is MansaMuhammad.com and MansaAISolutions.com. I'm an AI engineer, and I've been helping a lot of our people and just people in general make that transition into, the agentic era and setting up AI agents and putting their businesses under those systems so that they can automate them. There's a lot of other things I do on the side, but right now I think that's what's most important for our people to get a grasp of, since we're dealing with this shift right now. And I think that, us moving into a phase where we are taking the reins and using this technology, for our benefit, is something that we can utilize to amplify our genius, as well as, something that's interesting that I caught what the brother HERU was saying is it's almost like this balance we have to have. We have to be in the agentic world, but we also have to maintain our presence and stability in the natural physical world. You know what I mean? So that we're masters of both domains. And so, not to take up too much time, that's who I am. That's what I'm about currently. Anybody that's interested in knowing a little bit more about me, you can visit MansaMuhammad.com, and I pretty much have my resume and everything that I've done over the years for the last 20 years on there. But yes, definitely, please continue with the Lord of the Flies analogy. That was excellent.
I just have to throw this in there because Brother HERU was a lawyer in his past life. Brother Mansa Muhammad is the one who went viral for Moors in Court back in 2005. Him and the other brother in New Jersey court who first put on that demonstration that sparked a whole movement of in-court demonstrations. That would be our good brother right there, aka Cheyenne, the Liberator. But
honors and salute. Honors and salute.
Movie. Yes.
For sure.
But please, let's continue with the Lord of the Flies, my good brother. And
Yeah.
did you get a Netflix remix?
No. So this is from the novel Lord of the Flies, right? And I think they did a movie that might have been accurate to the novel. But the premise is that it was some school children who were on an airplane. I believe it was a soccer team, and the plane crashed on a remote island, and all the adults died. So the children had to organize themselves, and they called themselves lords of different animals. And so you had the Lord of the Flies, Lord of, the birds, the Lord of this, the Lord of that. And they put themselves into different sections. And what was missing was the wisdom of adults, right? So we hit a very important time in history, and it doesn't happen often, but it happens with new technology. And in this age, I'd say in the last maybe 100 years, new technology has really been the province of the youth, right? In the past, when new things were made, adults were spearheading it. As you see technology grow faster and faster, you start seeing that the youth become conversant in the new technology while the old people tend to get left behind. And that does cause some issues. I knew a sister in Washington, D.C. Shout out to the sister. And she used to be addicted to crack. So I had long conversations with her about crack. And I said, so, what was so dangerous about crack? She said, well, it wasn't necessarily the addiction that was the worst thing about crack. She said something very profound to me. She said that what crack did was it threw off the generational balance. And I was like, what do you mean? She said, well, it was the first time in our history, whether we are in America or Africa or anywhere in the world or the Caribbean or South America, it's the first time in our history where the children led the adults. I said, what do you mean by that? She said, well, the crack dealers were the young people and the addicts were the old people. And the older people were the ones who had the money. And so the young people were serving the block. So if you've got people addicted in a zip code area, and you've got all the addicts are adults, the adults are at the whims and the beckons of the youth. And when the youth now can control who gets high, who doesn't, the price of a commodity that the older people want, then the youth start instituting youthful rules, youthful chaos, and you get what you end up getting. And I thought that was very profound when she said that. So what I'm saying is that in this age of artificial intelligence, the older people will be left behind. 70s, 80s, this is not something that they're going to necessarily be immersing in. This is for the youth. The beautiful thing is that I really just accidentally bucked up on Red Pill in this iteration of his life, right? I didn't know that he was deep into AI like this, right? I knew the brother from 20 years ago on a different type of vibe. He knew me on a different type of vibe too. But to meet up now and see that the people who are spearheading the educational aspect and the implementation aspect in our communities are actually youthful and also wise. Because what happens is that when youthful people are empowered, you would hope that amongst them is wisdom, right? Because the youthful people will be the ones who are going to be controlling what happens in the trajectory of really the human race from here moving forward. Because AI is updating all the time. And if you're not keeping up with it, you're not keeping up with it. And it's going to be the youth who are going to be plugged into this. And I'm just happy to know that, we got a young man sitting next to Red Pill,
Red Pill himself is a young man. We got a young man in Brother Mansa. And the point is that there's youthfulness, and then there's also wisdom of the youth who still respect the elders and still respect tradition and still respect protocol and still respect, the greatest good for our people. That's an important aspect, because a lot of times when we get youth, the youth don't contemplate those things. So what I'm very happy about is that this AI movement within our community seems to be in good hands with not only the youth, who would be a prerequisite to this new technology and mastering this new technology, but there's also wisdom laced within the youthfulness. So I wanted to just salute the whole 72 Clause movement, the whole Know the Ledge movement on this type of vibe, the right time, right place. And hopefully we will not, as a people, get left behind and be late to the party like we typically are, like we were with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, like we were with other investments and, the opportunities to really get into things that are cutting edge. We seem to always be last. And so the fact that Red Pill and crew are being proactive about this, I'm very proud of it. And I'm very happy to have been invited to, speak or present on whatever you all are asking me to do this weekend.
Well, I'm going to say this while everybody is listening and while the gods are here, that one of the main reasons that I reached out to you about the wealth segment and clause is because you made a profound statement and you were able to prove with your receipts that you got in at Bitcoin at $100. Now, listen, there's some people out here that get nice with, they get lucky. They got lucky with stocks. They may have mastered day trading. But to me, true wealth is a person who got in at 100, because wealth is a mind state. So there was something about your mind state, and you benefited off of having a wealthy mind state at that time. You were able to get in when others were not able to get in. Can you explain to us where your mind was at that allowed you to get in at $100 with Bitcoin?
Okay. So just to know a little bit about my life would be important answering that question. So I spent a lot of time in university with a degree in science, and then I went to law school. And I became a lawyer and practiced law. And I didn't like practicing law, so I retired at the age of 26.
Right.
And when I retired at the age of 26, simultaneously I became a professional poet. And I traveled the world doing poetry for about a decade. And so there's a whole section of people who know me as HERU the poet and don't know me as anything else. Then some people who know me as HERU the lawyer and don't know me as anything else, right? So, and then some people know me as HERU the herbalist, or,
Right.
People call you different things within different
chapters of the book.
Yeah, chapters of the book. So I never really worked for people. I've had maybe 3 jobs in my life. So when I got out of law school and started practicing law, I was given an opportunity to practice from another brother man who basically took me in and let me work in his legal office. And so I started practicing law as a solo practitioner. Did that for about 2 years, became a poet, and became an independent artist and independent business person, because you had to basically sell your poetry, sell your performances and all of that. And I lived off of this for 10 years and I did relatively well, right? So I had very good years doing poetry. In the meantime, I was traveling the world and getting like musical CDs from artists all over the world. So I started a thing called Movement Tunes, which was a corollary to iTunes, but a conscious version. So all along the way, I've been looking for ways to be free economically and not have to report to anyone. I'm not good soil to be obsequious to other men. So what happens is that it's hard for me to call another person, particularly someone who I consider my intellectual inferior, a boss. Right. And I never felt comfortable that I would have children and my son would see me calling another man boss. and having to ask for permission to go on vacation, and permission to take a day off of work, and permission to have a lunch break. That never sat well with me. And when I studied the history of slavery, it never sat well with me for groups either, right? So I couldn't get with slavery for groups, and I couldn't get for slavery for me as an individual. And I saw having a 9-to-5 as a form of slavery, wage slavery. Now, at the same time, I was involved in the conscious movement and activism. I was, a member of the UNIA, Marcus Garvey's organization, and big staunch follower of Malcolm X and all of those vibes, right? And Kwame Nkrumah and Patrice Lumumba, all those vibes, right? What I started noticing was that in our communities, there's a lot of talking. There's a lot of philosophizing, but very little motion. So you would hear conversations in our communities, the conscious communities, and it would always start with, we need. So we'll say things like, we need schools. We need our own security force or our own police department. We need. So people would identify what the need is, but would never include themselves in the we. In the sense of, I'm part of the we, so if I identify that something is needed, then I should play a role in making that need met. Right? So there was a disconnect, and I saw it. I also I got malaria when I was in Nigeria performing a poetry concert. And if you ever had malaria, you get lucid dreams. So I had lucid dreams, and basically I was writing poetry. And a lot of my poetry was on liberation poetry, that type of vibe. And I mean, you're familiar with some of my poetry. So I was always hoping that my poetry would play a role in our liberation, to wake our people up and what have you, right? That's what every conscious artist is looking to do. We're not looking for fame. We're just looking to tap into the minds of our people to basically induce desired behavior towards liberation, right? In the dream that I got when I had malaria, the dream, essentially the voice said to me, there are no magic words that's going to get us out of our situation. And it was a blow. It was a blow to me. It was a blow to my purpose. But it was also a scientific fact that if there were any words that was going to change the direction of our people, it would have been said already by Malcolm, Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, anybody else, Kwame Nkrumah, anyone else who, Toussaint Louverture or Dessalines, anyone who ever gave a damn about us,
right,
would have already said the words necessary for us to understand how we need to get out of our situation, or that we do need to get out of our situation. And I saw what moves the world is businessmen. Businessmen control the world. They buy the politicians, they control the world. Businessmen. So what I realized is that we're not in shortage of people in our community who are artists and wordsmiths. We do have a shortage of conscious businessmen and people who understand money, right? Because when they evaluate threats, there's a saying that says that intelligence plus money equals importance. Intelligence without money equals impotence. And money without intelligence equals ignorance. Okay? So what I figured out was, it's not that black folks don't have money, or whatever you want to call us, just say black folks, for the lack of a better word, just say black folks. And actually there's a whole dissertation a good brother of mine is doing on the word black, and what we called ourselves on the continent. He's a linguist, like an official linguist, Dr. Obadale Cambone. Probably should be exposed to this audience. Would be some interesting conversation. But what we learned is that it's not that black folks don't have money, it's just that the right black folks don't have money.
Right.
Right? So what I decided was I'm going to take time off and study money for a year. So I'm not going to do any more poetry. I'm not attending any more political, meetings. I'm not doing any of that, like the conscious debates, or I'm not doing any of that. I've already read my Marcus Garvey. I've read my, John Henry Clark. I've watched my Dr. Ben lectures and all of that, right?
Did your community service?
Yeah, like I put in time to investigate what's really going on, but the rubber was not meeting the road. So I decided that I was going to study money for 1 year. Now, what was very interesting about that was after the year, I came back, and the same people I left were in the middle of the same conversations a year later. The same debates, the same everything. But when I studied money, I understood that money was a science.
Right.
And so because I was so grateful that it was a science and not necessarily an art. The reason I'm saying that is that with the science, you can duplicate the results with the same ingredients. So the fact that money is a science means that if you just understand it properly, you can replicate the same results that another person did, if you're able to look at it properly. So because I understood money, I understood different forms of economic systems, understood the true meaning of capitalism, which I was lied to about all my life. I understood the true meaning of socialism, the true meaning of Keynesian economics, the true meaning of Austrian economics. These types of things you study. And the Southern Cradle, Northern Cradle theory, it primed me to 2010 when a person named Satoshi Nakamoto releases the Bitcoin white paper. Now, if I did not study money prior to that, the Bitcoin white paper would have been gibberish to me.
Right.
Because I had studied money and I understood the principles of money and what makes something money, fungibility, transferability, those types of things, and understanding really the characteristics of money, and understanding what soft money is and hard money, and understanding how the central banking system is working on printable fiat forever, which basically dilutes the money pool, which gives you inflation, which takes the value of your money down. And that's the only game they really have. That is scientifically predictable that central bank currency-led systems are always going to print money, because they're always going to engage in excessive government spending because you're printing money. And the government has a monopoly on two things. The government has a monopoly on money and violence, right? So because they have a monopoly on money and violence, they are not ever incentivized to not print money, right? And it's run by private individuals who never get elected. That's the Federal Reserve, right?
Right.
The private individuals. They're not subject to a democratic vote. And they control the money supply. And they loan the money to the U.S. Treasury. And the loans are never meant to be paid off. And so when you start understanding these things, you start understanding that it is mathematically predictable that the value of your dollar will go down year by year by year. That's why 20 years ago, $100 could buy you 2 grocery carts full of money, and now $100 will buy you a fourth of a grocery cart. That means that the same bread is there. It's the same bread, same ingredients. The bread should actually be coming cheaper with the efficiencies in manufacturing.
Right.
But the bread is becoming more expensive year over year over year, which means that your money is actually getting less and less powerful in terms of the spending power of the money. And this is a form of time theft. So they're stealing time away from you because your wages don't go up, but the price of bread goes up. So 10 years ago, a loaf of bread cost $1. 10 years later, it costs $2. That means that you had to work twice as hard or twice as many hours to buy the same loaf of bread. If you're an hourly employee, that's what that means.
Right.
So what they've done is so let's just say that you have 40 years of your life. They've now taken 80 years of your life because the price of things have doubled. You have to work twice as long to pay for the same thing. It is a form of time theft. Right. And once I understood this, and the Bitcoin white paper was saying that the fact that it's programmable money that is capped at 21 million and it can never be more that's printed of Bitcoin, you solve the forever printing money problem. It's capped. Now, if it is something that is considered valuable and delivers value in the form of a network that never shuts down, a network that's distributed, it's an open ledger system, and it has a limit to how much can be printed, which means it is anti-inflationary. Right. It solves a huge human problem of time theft. And so when I saw that, and I saw that I could deliver value, because I've traveled, I've lived in many different countries, and you can't travel with more than $10,000 cash. Mm-hmm. Right. Your money, but they want you to declare it and they'll seize it from you. But you can walk through any airport with $2 million of Bitcoin on your cell phone. I can transfer $2 million of value to Phil today, whether I'm in the Congo, whether I'm in Paris, whether I'm in Alabama, I can transfer it to you. Right. No wire. It puts MoneyGram and Western Union out of business. Mm-hmm. So when I saw that, and there's some of us, we've done international transactions. Like I was working on building a house in Dominica in the Caribbean, and I was sending money to my contractor through MoneyGram. And MoneyGram decided one day that they banned me. Yep, cooked you. They just banned me. And so Bitcoin is permissionless. There's no one in between you and your money. If you go to your bank today and try to withdraw $1 million and it's your money, they're going to give you a hassle. It's going to be a show. Yes. You're going to have to do all types of documentation to get your own money. So I saw the problem that Bitcoin solved, and I knew that it would be valuable. And then it's limited. So now you've got scarcity plus value and increasing value, which means that you're going to get exponential price increases over time. So it was very clear to me the problem that Bitcoin solved. And so when Bitcoin was under 100, I was just buying Bitcoin. And this was 2011. And I was posting on Facebook almost every day, y'all need to buy Bitcoin. Y'all need to buy Bitcoin. Here's why you need to buy Bitcoin. Okay, it's $200 now. You know, I told you all when it was 100. Oh, it's $2,000 now. I told you. Oh, it's $20,000 now. And then when it hit 50,000, I stopped making posts about it. Because if you didn't get the point by now, you know, you're not going to get the point. Where Bitcoin is about 70,000 now. It went up to 120. We expect it to do more than that. It has these cycles. But the point of the matter is that I suspended all of my other activities that weren't necessarily solving the problem, which is personal independence and then independence for our people. And you can't talk about independence for our people unless you've done it for yourself. If you're talking about monetary, financial independence, economic freedom, and you have a lot to say about it, you should be able to do it for yourself. Like, I'm not going to talk about economic freedom and it being serious and I work a job, a 9 to 5. I have to free myself from wage slavery and having a boss first, and then I can show people how to do it. In other words, Harriet Tubman can't talk about freedom until she actually left the plantation and then can show people how she did it. So the Harriet Tubman model is right and exact, and it must be studied. Like, if you're going to free our people, you better know the path when you better have done it before. And you have better have done it for yourself. This is why I'm big on receipts, whether we do the work with herbal results and all the illness reversals you see, and like how we had the prostate cancer reversal on Monday, come on the show. It's important for us to produce the results because there have been a lot of scammers in our community too, because we're very vulnerable. We're very thirsty because we've been manufactured into poverty, right, through warfare. And so any chance that we can get to get an economic advantage, we're very, very, very keen on that, which is then giving a lot of room and a lot of oxygen for a lot of scam artists in our communities. Mm-hmm. So if I haven't done anything with the work that I do, I hope that the legacies I leave is the value of providing receipts. Like the value, like it has to be a standard amongst our people because our people are too vulnerable. We have too many slick talkers. Yeah, I used to talk for a living, right? I was a professional poet. I literally got paid to talk. So I can talk with the best of them if I want to. But the point is that none of that matters unless you can provide receipts, right? And so what I like about what you're doing, Red Pill, and the whole network that you have and the brothers that you're building with is that on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, these brothers are saying, we deal with AI. We really, really do this. Well, we're going to produce receipts and bring it back to the people that like, this is how you do this. This is how you do that. I myself, I just did a legal case with AI just the other week, and it was seamless. It was flawless, right? Now I can teach other people because I've actually done it. So what's beautiful about this is that this weekend, y'all are going to be able to see the receipts that these young brothers are able to provide. And, you know, I'll do my part in providing receipts as well. So I hope that answered the question, man. It was really the Bitcoin white paper. It convinced me.
You really did that. You really did that. Because again, these are bits and pieces of information that I'm aware of that, again, aren't always the most fun story in my mind. The way you just laid that entire timeline out of you getting into finances, understanding what real money is down to the fungibility of it, and then seeing the white paper and actually having the lexicon in your mind to be like, oh yeah, no, this is the future. That's the one. Let's go. Like that, man. Ooh, this is exactly what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about.
Right. Money is a major issue, ladies and gentlemen. Money is a major issue. Brother Mansa, I want to, that's a great way to veggie back off of, you know what I mean? Off of an alley-oop and whatnot. You know, we're going to keep the Knicks spirit going. So, you know, off of that alley-oop, Patrick Union, can you come in and dunk the ball on us and just break down the advances that you've been able to make with quantum computing, AI, agentic AI, and basically, you know, fast tracking your business, automating your business, and 10xing your operations.
For sure. But if you don't mind, before I do that, I just want to say one thing or a couple of things. What Brother Red Pill has done over the last 20 years since I've known him is create a network of conscious folks, our people, who are gemstones and pillars in their own right in our community, and they're all connected in some kind of way. You know, to be the connecting element between so many different people who add different layers of value to, you know, our community. And I just think that's fascinating. You know what I mean? I definitely want to just give honest with that, because it's a team effort, and it's important that everybody plays the role that they've given themselves, or that they've, you know, moved into through some type of awakening. And just listening to your story, Brother HERU, and the different levels and layers to your life and how you laid things out, that was phenomenal. So I just definitely want to give honors for that. And but moving along to what the brother was wanted me to expound upon. So for starters, I've been able to create, from my knowledge, I don't know about, I've done research, I haven't seen anyone else produce it, but from my knowledge, and it doesn't even matter whether it's the first or whatever, but I've been able to create a quantum native blockchain, which is a blockchain that actually generates encryption from a quantum computer. So I've created a multi-agent AI system of 16 AI agents that are executives, project managers, and directors who manage all of my businesses. And I was always one of those people who wanted to do more, but was limited based on how many people I could employ and deploy for certain, projects and certain things. And as AI continued to develop, especially the agentic aspects of it, I've been able to create a system of AI agents that that 10x my businesses, basically. So I have 16 AI agents running about 7 of my businesses. I got a few other businesses that I haven't put under there yet, but they're running autonomously. Not completely autonomous, but I would say probably about 92 to 95% autonomous with minimal human input on my part. I'm only just checking to see if certain guardrails are being crossed or certain things need to be fixed or checked that need my permission. And with that, I connected them to the quantum computer. There's several quantum computers in the world, but it's all about how you connect to them and how you use them. So I'm using the IBM quantum computer. I'm using the Wukong quantum computer in China, and a few others. And what I've been able to do is create a blockchain system, because you have what you have quantum resistant, and then you have quantum native. Quantum resistant is still using classical computers to derive encryption. So they're not necessarily from quantum computers themselves, but they're running an algorithm that gives the impression or feel that it's quantum computing. So the blockchain that I developed is technically quantum resistant, but the encryption element aspect of it, meaning the encryption that you would have with a blockchain, is actually generated using quantum physics on a quantum computer. And if anyone's interested, I have the white papers on mansacapitalgroup.com. And I've created it in this way so that it becomes a vehicle for our people to be able to access the industries in the present and future, meaning biotechnology, quantum and AI, data centers, agriculture, basically bioagriculture, tech agriculture. So there was this World Expo that I attended in the UAE in 2021. And it basically was a World Expo where all of the countries in the world came together and pretty much had a pavilion, and you can go to each pavilion and see what each country was seeking to obtain, what they're trying to do for their country, what industries they're into, what they're offering investors and entrepreneurs. And when I left, I was under the impression that, well, for starters, I went to a few countries, and a lot of them were saying that, oh, I'm so glad to see you. We're interested in doing business with your people. So that was interesting to me. But what I saw was that most of the world is using or seeking to move towards sustainable development and automation, technology, AI. The big countries like the United States, Russia, and India actually were more interested in space exploration. But most of the rest of the countries in the world were interested in sustainability and technology. So that primed and prepped my mind to really see. And then I went to China's pavilion, and the things China was doing and that they were showing, they had they had cars that could ride on land, turn into submersible underwater vehicles. They had solar panels on the car so that it could extract sunlight directly to the car. it was very advanced stuff. And so all of those things that I experienced there pretty much primed and prepped my mind to say, okay, the best way to take advantage of this is to create and I always have our people in my mind. So it always is a thing where I'm looking at how can I create something that I can take back to my people and give them an opportunity to participate in what the future is becoming, because I believe that, not believe, but we can pretty much count on the fact that utilizing our talents, our intelligence to develop systems that are going to empower us in the future is where liberation exists, or partially, not totally. You know, like like the brother HERU was pointing out, financial liberation and financial freedom is very key in the first part on that road to liberation. So I created Mansa Capital Group to create a private equity and venture capital, because what I realized is that there's less than 1% of current venture capital funds that comes to our people. We don't get access to those venture capital funds like that. But if we can create the engine internally amongst ourselves, then we don't need that capital, because we have so much capital among us that if we create the vehicles for these things to occur, then we've already solved 90% of the problem. Because if we were our own country, we would be the 16th largest country in the world. You know, that's ahead of Saudi Arabia. That's ahead of a lot of countries. You know what I mean? When it comes to
the oil wealth countries, is all.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We would be above even the oil wealthy, the oil wealthy countries. So MansaCapitalGroup.com, that's what that displays. That's that hybrid private equity and venture capital, because what a lot of our people don't realize too is, so you have this transition going on right now where they say the baby boomers are passing, right? And all of these mom and pop businesses, their children don't want them. So part of the play that's taking place is that you have private equity gobbling up all of these different businesses. But the spin that's being put on it is that these businesses are being bought with the intentions of being turned into AI autonomous operating businesses. And that's what that's what private equity is doing. So I wanted to create something that fulfilled the private equity need and something that fulfilled the venture capital need, but putting that all together in a context that allows us to do so with the intention of what industries are going to be emerging now and in the future, and creating a blockchain that is quantum, that allows us to invest and participate in that without having to worry about what happens to us generally when we do these things. You know what I mean? So that we have a level of autonomy or sovereignty into this element of investing in our future. So what I've learned when it comes to the quantum mechanics of it is that I'm having my AI agents utilize quantum, what I call quantum decision making.
Right.
So every decision that I have my AI agents making on behalf of my businesses is based on what is the best possible outcome
for your business.
Right. And what I'm finding out is quantum physically, it's not finding what's the best outcome. It's collapsing all of the other alternatives that don't include the goal or the objective.
Right.
So it's literally producing the result that is desired, as opposed to the best result that's desired, because it's collapsing all of the other possible outcomes and it's giving the direct calculation of do X, Y, and Z. You know, and this is something I'll demonstrate this weekend.
Oh, excellent. That reminds me of the movie, the one with Jet Li, where he was
Mm,
collapsing all of the other possibilities of another version of him in favor
right,
of his outcome and his purpose.
right,
Yeah. Well, please continue. And
right.
I do have a question about the funding vehicle as it relates to movies and movie projects and how we will be receiving our funding for these quote unquote endeavors moving forward.
Mm, for sure. So just to finish up what I was speaking about. So what I'm noticing essentially is that there's an expansion upon quantum mechanics and quantum physics that the industry is ramping it up since I was on the show with you and Spin that time and we were breaking atoms going into the
Right.
quantum realm. I've seen so much from that point forward of different parts of the industry coming forward with quantum mechanics, but none of them have quite done what we have already set out to do and what we've already been executing. And so on the quantum mechanic aspects with the quantum computers and the AI agents, they've created for me a way to, and that's what's ultimately allowed me to remove myself at least 5% from the entire system of involving a human decision-making capacity. Because one of the things that I was specifically aiming for is full autonomy, how to get the AI agents to behave exactly how I want them, how to make certain decisions a certain way. And it wasn't until I connected it to the quantum computer that really gave it that autonomous capacity to give me the results that I desired. Because like I said, it's actually collapsing all of the other possibilities and giving me the possibility of the exact goal that I was shooting for. And so with the blockchain that I developed, it's a fork. I forked it from an existing quantum resistant blockchain. Now this the blockchain that's considered quantum
Right.
isn't truly quantum yet because you need quantum computers to connect it to. So it's running quantum like algorithms on classical computers, right? So that's the bottleneck or limitation there. The big difference, again, like I said, from what I've done versus what others are proclaiming to have done, is actually generate the encryption on a quantum computer. So the encryption is generated from a quantum computer, but it's the quantum blockchain that I've developed is a fork from one of the pre-existing quantum blockchains that's open source and that's being tested right now. So that's just being transparent and giving some of the technical differences. But it's fully operational at the moment. Right now, I'm just working out some of the legal logistics so that when I bring this thing fully forward, I don't have I have certain things in place before the system. Yeah, exactly. I can protect it and the system can't attack me in certain ways, for sure.
Right.
Man, what's good, my brother? Man, I just want to ask a question because
What's good, my brother?
Quantum thought. Without, I mean, you don't have to give it all away, right? But to ask, how did you form the math? How did you form the quantum math, the elbows and the functions to get both the in-depth negative ending and the positive ending to the outcome that you want? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So what I started with is, okay, this is what I want to happen. And this is what I want to happen, best case scenario. And this is what I don't want to happen, which is the worst case scenario, right? So once I laid those things out, best case, worst case, and goal, like the goal and then best case scenario and worst case scenario. So that's three frameworks that I'm dealing with. So when I fed that data to my AI, I told it to reveal to me things that I'm not aware of when it pertains to worst case scenario, and reveal to me the things I'm not aware of when it comes to the best case scenario, and give me a framework on how those things can converge or diverge as it relates to my goal. So once it did that, right, once I got that laid out for me to say, and that process in and of itself was extremely eye-opening itself, you know what I mean? So then I told it to, okay, run this through, you know, use some technical language, of course, but pretty much run this through the PyQ Panda algorithm, which is a test first. It's not the actual, you're not running that directly on the quantum computer first. I had it run through the algorithm of the quantum computer, which is a simulation, before I did the actual quantum entanglement test. And so, you know what? I'll give you an example. In this, and I said to myself, if it has to be able to work on a minuscule level for it to matter on a larger level. So with one of my shops that I'm running, I told it to give me the best pricing, right? Give me the best pricing. So it ran through the PyQ Panda algorithm first and gave me pricing that was, I thought at first was too low, right? And once it ran it through the actual quantum computer, it gave me a pricing that was higher, but it pointed out that the products that you're selling is attractive to a specific demographic of art collectors, and they would be willing to pay this price for these particular products, right? So on a real basic level, you know, I tested it out and I tried it. And once I released it and started marketing it, it worked like a charm, you know, and I had been trying to sell those products for probably about 5 to 6 months now, right? And it has always been spotty. It's always been a few sales here and there, but that's just on a basic level, you know. But on a larger level, from that question you asked, that's basically what I did. I asked for the worst case scenario, best case scenario, my goals. I had the AI build that prompt out, and then I fed that to the algorithm. And then it ran through the first simulation, and the first simulation gave me certain things that I needed to look at to revise. And then I put it through the quantum computer. And then what I noticed once I did that, it collapsed the worst case and the best case scenario. It didn't even factor those in. And it pretty much said, this is how you get to the actual goal. And the worst case or best case scenario doesn't matter, because if you execute these things, it'll turn out like this, right? So I hope that answers it adequately.
It answers like a bit of it. So champion, bro, I'm gonna just say this when we doing our quantum thought and our math. So when it comes to selling a product, this is for everybody, especially my brother, because you think on a certain level, and all my brothers on here, brother HERU, peace to the God, man. I don't think I even waved at y'all and asked about y'all health and life. But so math would be emotion times experience plus outcome, practical action, social, emotional, working on 35 human cognitive biases. So breaking down each cognitive bias into a practical person, into an action-based person, into a social, emotional setting. So when I'm talking about the math is how did you create that? So when I created the brain, the new Amenti, I let people know this all the time. There's a math that happens there. There's, again, we spoke about it on the final 9 to 5. There's practical buyers, action buyers, social buyers, emotional buyers. And we all went through the math of the 22 or some odd different pathways that we were able to get to when it came to that. So I'm talking about the math, because the AI can't think without the context of what we know. So having the context of the things that we know in marketing, in sales, et cetera, et cetera. So I would say, bro, go back to the drawing board, and I bet you can get 100x outcomes by looking at human buying behaviors. Even going back into how we do on New Amenti is to go into the back end of Facebook ads, but we want all those analytics for context, because what are the buyer behaviors that lead to them getting a phone, What are the interests that they've been looking at lately to make them want to buy a phone? And to the point to where we put together marketing and we put together price plus timing times environment plus emotion is the math that the computer will never know. That's actual intelligence. And I'm just saying that in front of everybody. So y'all see what AI champions go through in a brotherhood. This is how we speak. The level is at this in which we speak. When I talk to him, I'll be asking that nigga some crazy shit. And I be having to make sure everybody in the room can even get it. Or it's just us. I ask him some crazy ass shit. So knowing how you think, I'd rather ask you some crazy ass shit. What was the math? My brother, what was when we're talking about quantum, it's all ones and zeros. And the thing about the new age is you can add twos.
Now that's brilliant though, brother. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I'm going to try that. That's excellent.
Cognitive biases, psychological behaviors, interests, environment. Now, once you put that, and what these niggas just told me about the obsidian is, now I can put all that math in there. Now, every time you put in a notebook of math times 32x, human cognitive bias, number one, the halo effect times practical buyer, you're getting hella notebooks of the one piece of math. By the time you do all 70 calculations of math on practical, all 70 calculations on action, all 70 on social, emotional, plus human cognitive biases, where it gets you 70 times 35, you come back with a quantum thought in a notebook that you can't even, that nobody can even fathom. That's an actual intelligence. It's being.
Actually, if you don't mind, my brother, could you just repeat those? I was trying to type up the notes, but I'm like, let me grab a pen and paper real quick. So you're talking about using the social, the emotional, that's okay.
The practical reason. People buy on the practical level is based off the numbers. Does this practically make sense? Is this something I gotta go back to my wife about? Is this something I gotta go to my brother about and say, Red, nigga, I'm trying to spend $5,000 on the next tour day. And we go like this. That's because we're trying to make practical sense. Action, we knew he was gonna be there. Red is 5. All right, nigga. Go on, action. Social is, okay, we're gonna spend 5, but how many 5-star reviews do they have? Oh, they don't got none. Ain't nobody going there. Social cues. Emotional is like, would you buy this to make your children happy? Does it make your children sad that you're not in the AI? Do you feel like you're gonna lose your grandmother before you reach all your goals? So you want to reach your goals faster? An emotional reason. So now once you break down the reasons of the front four, the 4 horsemen, we will say, of marketing psychology. Now you want to go to human cognitive biases. So those front 4, the PACE system, practical, action, social, emotional, then go to the plus of the human cognitive biases, and then do a folder of all biases plus practical, all biases plus action, all biases plus social, all biases plus emotional, right? All of those are different folders. Red will probably tell you how to set them up into the obsidian, and they should go from there.
Right. So I'm going to run that first thing in the morning.
Human connection to a machine in which they didn't have based on the product. You say, hey, and that's what I would say too. What's the difference between me showing a product to Claude? What's the difference between me showing Gemini and Gemini? I mean, what's the best price based on what's happening today? To make your software, put your software in that blue ocean, and to say that your software is not a large language model wrapper. None of my founders, none of my brothers got rappers. This is invented. This is a map. This is a sequence. These are the numbers. These are the words. This is the text, the zeros and the ones. And we know in the world of today, we can get twos. So just having that, bro, I'm like, boom. That's an idea and a thought I know that in which we can have when you look back at that, set forth the folders, and then going at it with each shot of the second brain and plus quantum thought. Oh man, you're going crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guys and goddesses, nobles, Moors and Moabites, nobles and noblettes, listen. the QR code right next to my head, looking like a Minecraft block and whatnot. I need you to wave your phone over that and get to the money. Save your emotions. I need to see y'all in the building Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 72 clause, Miami. Money is a major issue. Why? Because we are out here, geniuses, coming together, breaking codes and whatnot, helping you with your sovereignty, helping you level up, helping you upskill, assisting you, working over your shoulders, giving you all of the steps that it takes, the sequences. You hear how these brothers is building. This is a random conversation, but when we come to you for this boot camp on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and yes, it is being recorded. You will have access to it in perpetuity. We have coming to the stage our good brother HERU, OFORI, ATTA. He is going to be giving you the wealth, and he's going to be giving you the health. We got our good brother H Factor. He's coming through. This brother is going to be giving you we have a travel agency. He's going to be giving you the way to monetize your platforms with social monetization with Yapit. He's also coming with the Farming Army. We got Spin City. He's coming through with New Minty in the AI, quote unquote, digital marketing. We have our good brother HITSUYO. He's coming with the branding. He's coming with the IP. He's coming with the monetization. This is the sovereign architect. Then you have your good brother Mansa Isa Muhammad. He's coming with the content pipeline, the system tools, and all of the tech stacks. And then the host of this event, Brother Red Pill, I will be bringing you the Imaginarium OS. I will be bringing you the Clause OS. And then we have our featured guest, our featured speaker, our headliner, original Black God, AI filmmaker, content creator, and all around, quote unquote, content machine. And we have some big announcements that we're going to make this strong in Miami. Think Miami Vice. Think GTX Miami type GTX 6. Like, we are taking entertainment or edutainment. We are taking the fantasy complex industry to an entirely new level. How can you turn your ideas and your thoughts into IP? How can you turn that IP into income? How can you turn income into quote unquote assets? How can you turn assets into acres? So I just want to remind everybody that we will be in the building. Make sure you get your tickets. This is online only. This is online only. And we also have tickets for separate days in case you don't want to make it for all three. I don't know why, but everybody has their reasons. We have Friday, we have Saturday, and we have Sunday. I want to know from you two brothers briefly.
Yeah, that make a drop too.
That I want
what I'm gonna do. Yeah, my bad. It's just they don't know what I'm doing. I just had to talk to my brother right quick because I knew he was up to something.
Yes, you want to drop what you're gonna be doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's spin drop what he'll be bringing to the building for this boot camp.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely keep it brief though. I think y'all have been touching on it. I had missed a portion of the live. Y'all was making some phone calls, making something happen. So they are saying that AI is gonna take all of the jobs. When I for sure know for a fact we can go get more jobs with AI. I said it outside when it was just me and Red. I'm like, damn. When the horse and carriage was out, the carpenters, man, they was booming, man. Carpenters were having a time, man. They building the wagons, they building the rims at the time. The hoofs. The iron worker was man, he making horseshoes, he making rims, they got a little strip of rubber, the rubber worker going crazy. And one say, cuz say, man, we couldn't drop the car. What did that do? What did that do to the rancher? What did that do to the carpenter? What did that do to that iron worker that made horseshoes? Because what was horseshoes for? We got to go back to the context of everything. Horseshoes were so, they wouldn't get anything stuck in their hooves and it'll strike their nerves. And something going into loose. And they made iron horseshoes, y'all. It wasn't just a game. It was literally a horseshoe. So they could travel long distances and run. So we're thinking of the technology turned into a vehicle. Where it had the rubber tires, the steel rims, the steel frame chassis, the motor. So now, who's born? The gasoline people are like, man, wait a minute. What does that run on? You gotta start gas. Oh, wind shield, we going into glass. The steel worker like, oh, we got more to do than horseshoes. We got chassis, we got rims, we got brakes, we got interior, the plastic worker, the cotton worker comes alive. And we making seats, we making luxury vehicles. So that means quite a few jobs were invented from that one piece of technology. I hope we can agree.
So
now me and my brother can see, oh, AI is taking jobs. I'm not gonna be, it would be false of me to be pro AI and not anti AI. I'm from it. I'm from faulty robotics. I'm from extremely faulty autonomous vehicles.
Right. What was that company?
But it was Cruise. Cruise ran a nigga over. Right. But a human, not a human on the ground, the autonomous vehicle didn't recognize him as a human and drug him. It was so unfortunate. They put the company 10 billion under and out of the game.
Maybe
10
for Waymo?
billion under and out the game. Waymo learned from Cruise's mistakes. So let us be the pioneers. We'll go scrape the knees, man, scrape the elbow, man, dust them knuckles up, man, on this AI. You see my brother Monson finna invent something. I know he was running the math as soon as I told him, because that's the type of work he is. I seen where his eyes went to. He put the math together, he took it off the paper, put it in the computer, because that's how we work. That means he found even new engagement in his market, in his machine. It makes his machine that more innovative. It makes it that much more efficient.
Right. It's the name of the game.
And when you want these machines, when you want the Mansa Muhammad joint, when you want the HERU joint, when you want the red pillar joint, when you want something built up from Aku, when you want to go with New Amiti, when you want to go with, our shit is invented. You know what I'm talking about? And knowing how to go to easily. Like, this is my last point. We'll show y'all how to take free developer programs. That's gonna be my section. Because the world of tomorrow, you can go take free developer programs to set yourself up for jobs. As soon as AI came out, what was the first thing born? The prompt. The prompt engineer.
Prompt engineer. New job.
A new job, and boy, it was worth $165 when that shit came out.
$350 last time I saw.
Nigga, walk into my company and know how to speak to the machines in a way that we don't know how to speak to them. Sebastian, what is it? Monson, what is it?
No, I mean, now with the rise of the agentic era, AI engineers is the most sought after job that's available. So if you know how to program, manage, and create AI agents, there's companies offering $500,000 a year for that.
I'm seeing them. Waymo running around Los Angeles everywhere nowadays. Yeah, they won, but you can go to NVIDIA developer program and learn how to engineer autonomous vehicles tonight for like 30. So you can join that $370,000 a year team by taking the developer program, having your intelligence accelerated through Notebook LM, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to piece together and work in the world of tomorrow, because it's not rocket science until it is.
Absolutely.
Come on, preacher.
So I want to ask my brother HERU a question about funding in regards to vehicles that people are creating these days, like movies and whatnot. I believe we're in a new day and time where AI films are going to be looked at as legitimate contenders in the box office. Just the other day, a company that goes by the name of Hicksfield premiered a 95-minute film at Cannes, at the Cannes Film Festival. So I heard a standing ovation, right? And the Wall Street Journal ran an article that said that this is the great Hollywood disruptor. I want to know from you, being that you're heavy in finance, what would be some of the steps that a creator would take to get financed by an angel investor or an investment group, right? So they don't have to necessarily go to the banks or go to any of the studios to get funding for their projects.
Okay, so there's different ways to procure funding, and what a lot of people don't know is that there are a lot of film grants. So people apply for grants for films, and you can get funding through grants. However, you're going to have a lot of governmental control or not-for-profit control, whoever's giving the grants. That's one way to do it. That's not my preferred way. You could get an angel investor. You could, but that means that you'd have to know somebody who you have to know somebody who's got deep pockets and is not risk averse. But you're also going to have to present to them a high rate of return,
Right.
because it's so risky. The only way that someone employs their capital with a high level of risk is to be induced with a high level of return.
Right.
So it'd be good to have a track record of having something that's in the marketplace, to be able to look at some numbers or to at least have some research on comparables, right? So someone else put out a certain type of film that was done with AI or what have you, and this is how much money they generated. And these were the vehicles of generation. So it's just like, here's what I would say. This is what I always say to people. If you want an investor in whatever you're doing, ask yourself, if someone came to you for you to invest your own money in something, what questions would you want answered?
Right.
To protect your money. And those questions you would want answered are the questions that you're going to need to answer to other people. So there's different ways to structure it. There's the crowdfunding way to do it. I don't prefer that way. The reason why I don't prefer that way is because you want to incentivize people to be on board with you. So crowdfunding is donations. Donations to a cause is different than investing.
Right.
See, when people invest in you, they're looking to win with you.
Right.
The energy is different. There's a sense of ownership. There's a sense of belonging. A lot of times people do crowdfunding and then they forget about it. But if somebody invested in your movie and they're looking for a return, guess what happens? You have a whole promotion team now. Right. So I would prefer, so the question is, would you rather have 1,000 investors or 1,000 crowdfunders? Most people would say 1,000 crowdfunders.
I would prefer investors, me personally.
Yes. Here's why you want 1,000 investors. They win when you win. Right. Tangibly. That means that they're more invested in your product or your project more than a crowdfunding person who is supporting you and likes what you're doing and maybe likes you and what you stand for. But when someone invests and they get a return on their money with you, they're going to be your biggest cheering squad. They're going to be your biggest, marketing team. Right. And this is what you want. So for me, I actually had this idea a long time ago, man. And this is the idea that I had. I had an idea, and this was maybe 20, 30 years ago, that there could be a marketplace for songs, right? Mm-hmm. And the song is online, and everyone could invest in the song. So imagine if you could invest $10 in Thriller, or $100 in Thriller, or $1,000 in, Thriller, the album. Right, because it was so big. Yeah, and you're able to now get a return on investment on that $1,000. $1,000 would go to maybe pressing more records, more marketing for Michael Jackson, whatever it is. But you'd be part of the business structure of Michael Jackson making money. I felt like songs could actually be financed that way. Records could be financed that way, where you wouldn't need the Israeli Jewish investor, record company owner, or CEO to get behind you before something pops. This could actually be a democratic way for something to pop. Wouldn't it be nice if we all, think about classic hip hop. Imagine if we were all part owners in De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rising. We'd be getting residual checks for the rest of our life, even if it's just $100 every 3 months. If we were original investors in Public Enemies, you know what I'm saying? They just takes a nation of millions to hold us back. And it didn't go through a record company. It was us investing and putting out the songs and promoting the song and getting a return on investment on that. That would be a hell of a business model that I think would actually create better music, more democracy in music, and less social engineering in music in terms of what our enemies want us to be saying and dancing to and partying to, right?
Right.
So in that same vein, movies can be done like that. You can literally even have a clearinghouse for movies that's set up, and people can watch clips of the movie. They can watch the trailers of the movie, see who's in it, storyline, and all of that, and then invest in the movie. So maybe you have the beginning, maybe the beginning scene. This happens a lot of times too when people get angel investors for movies. They'll shoot one scene of the movie.
Right.
Right. So they'll have the summary of the movie, and then they'll shoot one scene for people to look at. Like, this is what it would look like. This is what the product would be. Imagine if we could do that, and people worldwide would be able to invest in this movie. You could raise $100 million for a movie very quickly doing that. And then your investors, you have a block of investors, and the way you would organize it is the people who control the intellectual property, the creatives, the writers of the movie, and anyone else who's involved in the movie who you want them to come in on an equity stake. So that would be maybe your directors, your cinematographers, your actors. You can give them a stake in the movie. And what you can do is you can put 51% aside for the creatives and 49% for the investors. That way the creatives still maintain creative control. And that way you don't have a major investor come in and say, oh, we'd like to change, your lead character, from Mustafa to Bartholomew. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll be able to control what's called final cut rights of a movie. We could stop that so that we control our own narrative. You could have a 51-49 situation, and the general public can put in money based on what they, how excited they are in a film. Imagine if, you could have invested in the first Friday series or whatever movies, were big in our communities. And we, the individual, can not only just be a consumer, we have a chance to buy in something. And you'd be able to get residuals and dividends for the rest of your life. That's how actors get paid. That's how many people who have contracts with these movies and these sitcoms, they get paid through residual checks. You know what I'm saying? And so the consumer could develop that model as well through an investment model. I would, like, when I do an AI movie, that's the investment model that I would use. And I'm only doing it not necessarily that we would need the money, because you no longer need $100 million to do a great movie.
No longer need
AI wiped all that away.
Right.
You might be able to do a great project for 5,000, 10,000. It's going to boil down to the ability to tell stories, creative use of language, and the mastery of dialogue, character development, those types of things. The real art and storytelling is going to have to be paramount, because everyone's going to have the same tools in terms of cinematography, CGI, effects, all of that. And I would hazard a guess for the first year or two, you're going to see people going crazy with effects, right? Using AI to do all types of crazy effects. And it looks interesting and really like out there and all this technology. But at the end of the day, movies are about storytelling. And there's an art and a science to storytelling, and the great storytellers will rise to the top. And so we're going to be in a time now where you literally are going to have a democratization of talent. See, in the past, talent was run through dictatorships. In other words, they were gatekeepers.
Right.
3 movie companies, 3 music companies.
Right.
All right. Now, the point of entry or the cost to participate in movie making was so high that banks had to fund movies. Now the production costs have become so low, anyone can make a movie. And the question is, who's the better storyteller? Not who's the better action sequence person or a, special effects person and all of that. All that's going to be a wash. It's going to be who can tell stories, and those are going to be the people. Then there's going to be a monetization aspect, and there's going to be different ways to monetize. And if you can spell out how you're going to monetize the film, whether it's through product placement, advertising through streaming, a subscription model like Netflix does, or just a la carte purchase this movie, or or a subscription thing. So there's going to be different models, and I think it's also going to represent a huge opportunity for Know the Ledge Media. Know the Ledge Media now becomes a production house. Yes. Not only production house, a distribution house, a digital distribution house, where you can compete with Netflix.
That is the plan. That is why Netflix exists, and that is ultimately with the position that we are placing ourselves into. Man, how many of y'all in the building are enthusiastic, feeling the way that I feel? Just with the gears in my mind is spinning right now, because I'm like, bro, I literally feel myself getting closer to the finish line. You know what I mean? All of the pieces are literally falling into place right before my very own eyes. I had a conversation with my good brother Mansa earlier, and he talked to me about content creation at a scale and whatnot. And he also talked to me about quantum content creation. So I just want him to, I don't want you to give up all of the sauce, but I definitely want the good brother to give us an update as to how far he has come, and how advanced his system has, where now he could create content from a simple prompt that can output stories and all of that. Also, before I even say that too, I'm going to say to brother HERU, ironically enough, in the age of what they call the last president, now we are also in the age of the last poet and whatnot. So going back to where it started is where it's going to end. The griot, the storyteller, man like you, the great poets of the world, right? The ones, the folklore and whatnot, the rappers, the ones who were initially supposed to be the storytellers of our village and whatnot, they have the opportunity now to rise up again and shine, because like you said, the most important person in this field right now is the storyteller. Please, brother Mansa, let's go.
Indeed. And again, wonderful information and dialogue that's being shared. So one of the things that I've developed from the tech stack that I'm using is and again, like, one of the main things that was important to me was autonomy in the process, and as less human involvement as possible with getting results that surpass your expectation. So the tech stack that I'm using, and we'll get into detail this weekend at the Miami Clause Conference, but essentially what I'm able to do now is create a prompt. I like to utilize the LLM still to kind of polish off the prompt, but I'll take the prompt and I'll run it through the system that I've developed. And what it'll do is it'll create a script. I'll tell them the story or the concept or the idea that I have, just fragments of it. And what it'll do is it'll take those fragments. It will create a character Bible, as they call it, and then it will create a script from it. I use something called the snowflake method, which is a way of storytelling that closes the loops on the story so that there's no open-ended elements to it. And so it'll use that system of developing the story. It'll first put it into a novel, and then it'll move, or it depends. I can tell it to do the novel first, or I can tell it to just go to a script, but it'll turn it into a script. And then what it'll do is it'll use the character Bible to generate the script. From the script being generated, it will then generate the visuals for it, which is the like how the comic book action sequences are. And then what it'll do is it'll lay out the voice, utilizing AI voice agents. It'll create the voiceovers for each of the different characters that's in the sequence. And then it'll create music to accompany the actual, it'll create music to accompany the actual film or what's the scene that's being developed. And then what it'll do is it'll run through another system that puts the extra graphics on it to bring it to life. And then it'll render it. And then it passes through one more phase, which is taking it from like 720p to 1080p and 4K or 8K. It'd take longer to render if you put it that far, but it'll upscale it so that the visuals and everything is clear and up to modern standards. And then it'll ship it. And that's something I'll demonstrate live this weekend on how the system I've developed is able to create content from A to Z. And honestly, it's surpassed my expectation. I've used it to create courses, automated courses, and I've created like a database in Superbase that pretty much is the basis of the data that I wanted to pull. So like one of the things that I'm working on now is I've taken all of the history books, like you said, the John Henry Clark stuff, for Babylon and Timbuktu, all of this source material. I put it into a database, and then I have my system using that database to create the content, and then the visuals and the voiceovers and the music and the scenes and the scripts and everything to accompany that. And it's so far as exceeded my expectation. So that's something that we'll definitely be demonstrating this weekend for sure. But another layer that I've added to it again is the quantum mechanics aspect. So right before it goes to the prompt system that actually starts generating everything, I'll tell it to run the algorithm through the quantum computer so that pretty much everything is polished. But like I said, I'm going to do this thing that Spin gave me, so I'm going to do that tomorrow, and I'm going to see the results it gives. But for the most part, I'll run it through that, and I think that's one of the things that's increasing the output beyond my expectations for sure. So, but yeah, that's the content pipeline that I've been able to generate from the tech stack that I'm using.
Man, I don't know if y'all in the audience, if y'all understand how blessed y'all are to be in this moment in time right here, to have a collective of geniuses who are literally on the cutting edge of what it is that's going to take for you to literally be a master of your universe in the now, not the later, right now. You know what I mean? So I just want to say I cannot wait. I'm literally about to go do some sit-ups and get myself ready for Friday. You know what I mean? Because 8 hours of teaching 3 days straight, well, not 3 days straight, but 8 hours going back to back, that's a lot of work and whatnot, but we built for this. The information is so powerful right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayday, you have no idea what it is that we about to deliver to you. And then after this, 7 days later, we will be in Houston. We have a solution. That one right there is an in-person event. That is an IRL event. That's gonna be with the Texas family, super duper powerful. But peep how we moving and whatnot. We going into money is a major issue, which is a Bitcoin city, Miami, all of the energy that you got going on in Miami, a party city, an entertainment city, a big light city and whatnot. And then we're gonna take it into Texas. Everything is big in Texas. So we bring that ashe, we bring that energy, we bring it right into Texas, we bring it into Houston, right on the cusp of Dallas, the connection, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston. Where's the one where the white boys be at with Joe Rogan and them?
Corpus Christi.
You got Corpus Christi, and then you have Austin, Texas, and whatnot. But all of that big tech money, all of that big investment money, big Texas, you know what I mean? So we're gonna go into Texas and do more of a business symposium, more of an AI business type of open Claude, Hermes, Claude Anthropic co-work type of a business demonstration with Pop Darby, with Mansa Muhammad. Spin City will be there. We're gonna have the time of our lives. But right now, money is a major issue. Miami is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You could be anywhere in the world and tap in with us live stream. The good brother HERU is gonna be on his mango farm.
Yes, I will.
I'm gonna have my feet in the beach water, playing with dolphins and building with y'all. You know what I mean? We're gonna be getting that vitamin D, that sustainability. We're gonna be on that grid, charging it up, ladies and gentlemen. Please make sure that y'all pull up. Man, oh man, I put together a hit team. I put together H Factor, Spin City, HITSUYO Aku, Brother HERU OFORI ATTA, Mansa Isa Muhammad, and we may have some other special guests. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What a way to end out May. What a way to go into June. What a way to prepare for the summer. I look at this like summer school, because summer went out. This is our summertime, summer school, summer energy, summer job, summer solstice. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna let these brothers close out, and then we will see y'all mañana, third eye Thursdays, inshallah, but definitely Friday, and then next Wednesday, me and brother HITSUYO, we start our workshop entitled Get Money, and that's GIT money. Get money, because we running down on GitHub, all right, and turning that into a bank. So brother HERU, can you give us your closing statements and let us know what to look forward to this strong end?
Yeah, so I look forward to interacting with the folks. Just understand that the world is changing very quickly. Whether you want to participate or not, the world is changing. And in 5 years, it's going to look nothing like what you might remember. That is because this technology is the first of its kind where it can teach itself. See, there's a difference in technology that relied on human inputs. But now you've built a technology that no longer is going to need human inputs. This is the first time in human history. So what we're having is a window now. So you see, like the brother who's talking, Brother Mustafa, Brother Mansa, he's basically letting you know that there's a window of time. That window of time that we have is the window to learn AI and become proficient in AI. Those people who learn and become proficient in AI will be able to capitalize and not only outpace their competitors, but also capitalize by being able to teach other people AI. That window is going to close in 5 to 6 years, where everyone is pretty much going to know how to do AI or use AI to some degree, just like it took some people some time to learn how to use email, right? It took some people some time how to use social media, but now people are using social media. There's going to be a window, and there's going to be a very lucrative window where you can literally, so for instance, there's a young man who used AI in a very interesting way. He's using AI in an interesting way. He's going on Google Business, and he's looking at all the businesses in his zip code. In all of those businesses, he's doing a search to see if they have websites. And the businesses that don't have websites, he's taking their address, the type of business they are, and running it through AI to form a website in 5 seconds, right? Then what he does is he calls the business and says, hi, I've just done a website for your company. I noticed that you're Google listed, but you don't have a website. Because when you go to Google Businesses, it tells you the name of like a pizza shop near me. It'll tell you all the pizza shops, and it'll tell you the address, the phone number, and if they have a website, it'll have a website link. But if it doesn't have a website, it won't have a website. So he's able to scan and see what businesses don't have websites. So he's doing the websites on AI and then calling the business and showing them the website. And he's telling them, listen, if you like the website, I'll sell it to you for $1,000 and you have it. And I can put you on a subscription, and I'll manage your website, answer all the emails, all the contacts, all that through, the AI agents that he has. And that's another $200-300 a month. So within 1 month of doing this, he signed up 20 businesses. So he's selling the website for like $1,000. That's $20,000 right there because he got 20 businesses. And then he's selling a subscription to handle all the business that flows from the website for that company at a rate of like $200 a month, let's say. But he's got 20 businesses. So now you do the math. And it's just growing. So this guy is just making money after money. He's starting off making thousands and thousands of dollars a month and doing maybe 2 hours of work a week. This is what he's doing. And so he's just signing up business after business after business to agree to take the websites that he formed through AI. And I just did an AI website the other day. It took me literally just a few questions, what type of website, this and that. You answer the questions. The website's created for you. And it's done very well, by the way, by a lot of these like hosting companies have an AI builder. So the point that I'm making is at some point, everyone is going to learn how to use AI. That window is going to close. And then what does that mean? It means that for the first time in human history, knowledge is no longer a commodity. I want y'all to think about that. You see, your lawyer was able to make money because they were selling knowledge of the law to you. Your doctor is able to make money because they're sharing knowledge of health with you. They're selling it to you. Your mechanic is able to make money sharing his knowledge and his know-how of fixing your car. Well, when everyone has an AI agent and everyone knows how to use it, there are no more apps. And there is no more selling of knowledge. Your architect can no longer sell you a blueprint because your AI agent can make a blueprint of the house you want to your specifications. I want people to think about what that world looks like when knowledge is no longer a commodity. This is what I want people to start to contemplate. And there's a short window where that's going to happen. And those people who are already ahead of the knowledge train will already be in place and would have bought all the land, would have had all the things in place when knowledge is no longer a commodity. There's no more knowledge needed in mastering a music project because you have AI that will do all the mastering for you and the mixing for you. Remember, the producer that you hire to do your album, they're selling you their knowledge of sonic frequencies. AI will be able to do all of that for you. So there's no more selling of knowledge. There's no marketplace for knowledge when AI takes over. AI is your PhD chemist, but you don't have to hire that person out of college anymore and pay them $100,000 a year. You have an AI agent that is just as capable as a PhD level chemist and even more, creating new science. So we're moving into a world that's going to be unrecognizable. And it's going to be about those who know how to use these tools and who don't know how to use these tools. So I would just tell people that whether you like it or not, the world is going to move at the pace that it's going to move at. If you understand the history of technology, please understand that this is going to be an irreversible course. And are we going to be left behind? Are other people going to have AI drones flying over our heads? Or are we going to be able to have our own AI drones that can control other people's AI drones? This is what it's going to boil down to, the haves and the have-nots, and those who have been able to leverage AI to create a competitive stance. Because that's what's going to boil down to. So I want people to think about that. We're heading towards a world where knowledge is no longer a commodity. What does that look like when everyone has the same ability and knowledge of making weapons, let's say? Everyone has the same knowledge and ability to manufacture a car. Everyone has the same knowledge and the ability to make an iPhone from scratch with 3D printing. Everyone will be able to do these things from the comfort of their own home. And the question is, are you going to be proficient, or are you going to wait a generation for your children, their children to pick up on this? And they're going to be enslaved by those who have the knowledge, because no longer will knowledge be a commodity. Knowledge will be a tool. So, a very accessible tool. But we've seen with search engines like Google, people who use that and use YouTube University to learn how to do things, right? You can learn how to do anything on YouTube. Who's taking advantage of it and who hasn't? Who has really taken advantage of social media, which is a powerful leveraging tool? Or are you using social media to post selfies and the food you ate today? Or are you using social media to network with people all around to do business transactions? See, the tool is there, hammer is there. Some people are going to build a nice house and some people want to tear things down. And some people aren't going to use it at all because they're too lazy. So what I'm telling you is that those people who are the go-getters are going to be the ones who are going to be on top of this new knowledge, no longer as a commodity world. It's going to be based on effort and creativity. The playing field is going to be even, where you're going to have the same access to knowledge that a wealthy person is going to have. And the question is, how are you going to use it? And are you going to use it? And are you going to be vigorous in using it? You're going to have the right prompts. And, like, what are you going to do with your time and creativity? I'm going to close with this. One of the most powerful things you can study is physics. Physics physics has to do with mathematics, has to do with understanding chemistry as well. And all the other sciences actually benefit from the understanding of physics. The most powerful people are the people who actually master physics, like Einsteinian physics, Newtonian physics, mathematical physics, Lagrangian theorems, all these types of things to really understand Dirac equations, differential equations, to understand this type of stuff. This is what weaponry is based upon. This is what travel is based upon. This is what propulsion is based upon. All of this technology that matters is based on physics. Now, what I can tell you is that usually the understanding of physics required you to go through a university and rigorous training and pay a lot of money. I can tell you this unequivocally, that I spent a weekend on Grok and started asking Grok fundamental physics questions. And in that 3 days of me going back and forth with Grok, I learned more physics in 3 days than I learned in my whole 4-year university career when I, was studying physics. In 3 days, where it puts E equals mc squared into a whole different light philosophically, because we're saying energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, which also means that mass equals the speed of light squared over energy. So now we start asking ourselves questions. How the hell is mass related to energy in the speed of light? And why is the speed of light squared? And you start asking yourself these questions, and you start getting these really interesting answers, and you start understanding how the universe works. You actually type into the mind of the creator. And what I'm saying is that by having this tool, I was able to advance in my understanding of the philosophical nature of physics in 3 days, more than I had learned in 4 years at university. So what's happening now is that the gap is being closed even more, where those who want it are going to get it, y'all. It's about the quality of who you are and what you're going to do with the tools that you have. Some people will build a mansion with the tools that they have. Some people will build a shack, and some people won't build at all. And that is going to be a reflection of the quality of person you are. And that's where we're at. That's where we're going to be. So you better put in the time. And as Brother Red Pill says, as I've taken his terminology and his sayings, it's leg day, y'all. It's leg day. It's time to do some things that may be uncomfortable, but you're going to have to do it to close the gap and to achieve the highest level of strength and power that you have, it's leg day. That's where we're at right now. It's leg day, and embrace it. Embrace the pain of learning something new, language you never knew before, science, math you never heard of, but it's going to be worth it because you'll be able to get up that mountain a lot quicker because you put in that leg day. And that's where we're at. So I'm going to be happy because I'm going to be learning a lot from these brothers. I'm going to be happy this weekend to be immersed. I'm going to be a student because I want certain deliverables. I want to learn how to make AI films myself. So I'm looking to come out of this on the other end of having that knowledge, man. And those of you all who are serious, we're not going to spend our whole lives complaining about we don't have movies of our own, we don't have this, we don't know. It's time for you to say, I'm going to do something about it, and learning AI bridges that gap. So that's where we are with it. So I'm excited this weekend, y'all.
Oh man, y'all clap it up. Please clap it up for my good brother HERU. All right, brother HERU, OFORI, ATTA in the building, dropping it, making it make sense. Thank you so much. I can't wait to, I just can't wait for the demonstration. I know that you are going to benefit immensely off of what is going to be shown to you. It's definitely going to be an honor for all of the teachers and the scholars to step up on the stage and put on and, just give you a glimpse into the future and really the now. So, man, thank you for even raising the bar to such a level that we are going to pull up on. All right. So speaking about pulling up, all right, our next brother, he is going to pull up on the family this strong end, and he's going to bring an iteration of what he bought in the first clause in North Carolina when he completely blew the panel up. I might even have to cut that video and put that on the YouTube to give him a taste, because I didn't even put clips of the last one up. I'm just archiving everything. But the brother came, melted the panel, collapsed the wave. Rumor has it that he was the best panelist of that entire one. But we not doing all of that.
Yeah.
But he did come and drop 80 on some Kobe stuff. Happy Eid to you. You know what I'm saying? Salute to your family. Can you close out and give the family in the audience, those who are going to watch the replay and those who will be with us on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just a glimpse as to what it is that they have to look forward to when they tap in with you?
For sure. And just to build on, what's already been laid down and some of the stuff that the brother HERU had beautifully stated, we're moving into a space where knowledge is not, knowledge doesn't reign supreme over nearly anyone anymore. You know what I mean? It's not about what you know, but it's about how you think. And it's about your internal clarity to create. And speaking on physics, it's this Asian physicist. He has the white hair. I forget what his name is, but he has long white hair. Yeah. Yep. This is before the AI explosion took place. He said this in about 2017, 2018, and he was talking about artificial intelligence becoming a thing. And he said the opportunities that humanity will have is in creativity. And that's one of the reasons why I love what you're doing so much, Brother Red, is that you're creating the platform for our people to really tap into the creativity, because that's where the power lies at this point now. It's not about what you know, because everybody has access to knowledge at their fingertips, and so if you don't know, there's no longer any excuse, because knowledge is cheap, right? And I remember when I went to, you remember when the zeitgeist was a big thing back in the early 2000s. The zeitgeist was this like documentary that was floating around in that.
Yes, sir. 08, 09.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. And so it was this guy named Jacques Fresco who was featured in, I think, the second one. and he spoke about the Venus Project. And the Venus Project was this sustainable futuristic city that he was projecting should be built. Well, I actually went to visit him in 2008. This was when Obama was being elected, and this is when Bitcoin, ironically, was first, the white papers was first released. So I went to visit him in Venus, Florida, and it was an amazing compound that he had developed. But his whole entire thesis is that humanity has to move to a resource-based economy, and that AI should be the center of that resource-based economy, which means that the AI is responsible for distributing the resources of Earth adequately where it needs to be, to all people, to all places. Essentially, what we're developing is that reality that he spoke about. One of the interesting things he said to me personally, because he was about 90 years old, he said he infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan and broke up several different chapters. He had like this really activism aspect to himself, but he said the only people who change society are technicians. He said religious people, politicians, you know, all of these people have effects on society, but the people who actually change society are the technicians. And he said the world won't be ready to move to this technological phase until there's a movie made about it.
Right.
And the interesting thing about that is this is the one calculation he was off on. He said, your people could be in the movie, but it can't be about your people. Right? Because he said there's so much racism in the world that it'll be hard for people to accept that your people should be the leaders of this change. The reason I say he was wrong about that is because he told me how he spent a lot of time with the guy from Marvel, Stan Lee.
Yes.
But we saw the world change when the first Black Panther dropped.
Right.
That gave everybody the visual of what needed to be seen in order for the activation in our minds to be able to say, okay, you know, we can really create a new reality. And I think that is where the nexus point is at when it comes to our creativity. And like the brother HERU said, there's no more excuse about making the films and telling the stories and the things that are important to us, to the world. Because what have we found out about social media is that Black folks run social media. Everything is about what we consume on social media. We set the trends. We set what's acceptable. Even to the people who don't like us, they still follow us and follow what we set as the example for what is cool, what is acceptable, what's digestible when it comes to content and media. And so I say all of that to say that the portion that I'm bringing is just the technical aspects of how we utilize these tools to create these stories and create this new reality, you know, because the gap in between the ideas and the execution of the idea is how to and what do we use. And so that's the part that I'm going to bring this Saturday, this weekend, in regards to the technical aspects of how do we execute these things. And really what I've personally learned is when you're utilizing these tools, it's no good unless you're trying to push it to its absolute limits. Try to maximize everything you can with these tools, because that's the way you get the best usage out of it. And essentially just showing people how, and like he was just talking about physics, you know, and then quantum physics is just an aspects of physics, right? It's a sub-study or a deeper study of physics. And to realize that we now have access to quantum computers and AI agents, and we're able to combine these things, we're exceeding our output in ways we can't even understand in the very moment, you know, because it's so new. But definitely I employ everyone to pull up this weekend. The brother Red Pill put together an an amazing panel, an amazing amount of brothers who and people who are going to demonstrate and show things. And I'm eager myself to learn. And that's the one thing about this space is you can't have an ego because everybody's using their creativity. And so you can learn from what everybody is doing and implementing so that you can improve your system, because at this stage, it's really you versus you. It's you and the tools. There's no competition. There's no opposition. The opposition is your internal clarity and your perspective on what you're trying to create and what value you're trying to contribute that, you know, people are going to acknowledge in one way, shape, or form, whether that becomes in monetary value or some other type of value. So with that, you know, I just definitely want to, you know, say, you know, honors and appreciation for inviting me again to be able to present what I have to the audience. And I you know, I'm going to send this out to everybody in my network that they need to pull up, because this is going to be monumental for sure.
Most definitely is. And I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, I would, if you brothers wasn't a part of it, in hindsight, I would feel bad about that. Like, dang, I didn't even. So the fact that we're gonna make history together is something that I really look forward to. And this is just the beginning. You know, for this one in particular, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do a graduation ceremony in Miami where that will be live. Because what I realize is with some of the boot camps, it doesn't necessarily make sense to do an IRL if we have not achieved anything as of yet. The IRL is the graduation. The IRL is the fact that we are here to celebrate, and we're bringing our, especially when it comes to money is a major issue, we're going to be creating film. We're going to be creating IP. So when we do meet up at the resort and whatnot, we're going to have film premieres, and we're going to be bringing our IP. And when you lock in with the boot camp and you're really serious about it, 60 days later, we'll see you at the graduation, okay? And we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna make this thing real big and whatnot. But that's how we finna do the money is a major issue, the Miami part. Now, Houston is a different thing. That's an in-person, because that's dealing with the business and everything. We'll be setting you up, but we'll also be coming back later on. For Houston, we have a solution. We may pop up in Dallas for the follow-up to that. I'm gonna pass this one to my good brother so he can close it out and let everybody know what they have to look forward to in Strong End.
72 clause, money is a major issue. You know what it is. This is leading edge technology. This is leading edge finance. This is just all around good knowledge to take you into the future, to future-proof you, to monetize your IP, to own your assets, scale your business, make your dreams a reality. This is how you manifest destiny, all right? That's the real goal here, really taking us out of that world of lollygagging AI and getting us into some real infrastructure, getting us into some real systems, getting us into some real order that we can use to actually progress the liberation of our people. Word to Big Brother HERU. That's the only goal, and that's all that we need to talk about. And just like Brother Mansa said, leave your ego at the door. We all bring in our creativity. We're all learning from each other. We're all growing. We're bringing the best of what we have to the table, so that way we can all compound on the interest. Isn't it interesting? You see what I'm saying? How you get paid for your attention, all right? And that's really what we're gonna be dealing with in Miami, remotely. We gonna be there live and direct. You gonna be there remotely. It's all good though, because we're coming back with graduation. Let's accomplish something. So that means we got the techno lockdowns coming. That means we got get money coming. That means we got some real work to do. Houston, I heard we have some solutions for you. We're coming through. This is the tiptoe of the totalitarian technocrats. You see what I'm saying? This is how we take back control. Oh, the AI is drinking up all the water. Well, if you was in control of the AI, you might be able to find some alternative. As a matter of fact, if you were in charge of energy infrastructure in general, you might be able to dictate what even is clean energy in this world. You know what I'm saying? You might be able to set up some mandates and have some laws in place that make sure that the AI runs on solar power, wind power. You just start inventing. Matter of fact, why aren't we using more AI to find more advanced solutions to real problems instead of putting pugs in business suits and laughing on the internet? Again, it mismanaging resources, to Mansa's point. So we're going to teach you how to properly manage the resources. That's what infrastructure is for. Your IP, your idea, your thoughts, your experience, your skills are critical resources that need to be reliably transported across the world. This is the new digital era, and having these systems in place is the bare minimum. It really is. This is not anything special. Now, yeah, it's bleeding edge. Yeah, we bring you some. This is that high grade mid. You see what I'm saying? This is the high grade mid.
The only minimum we acknowledge is MVPs.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the only minimum we is not a minimum viable products.
There you go. So it's about getting the most done with the least amount of effort. Again, future proofing, sustainability, ownership. I'm gonna sound like a broken record because at this point there is no other conversation to be had. The tools are here. The not just the knowledge, right? The expertise, the wisdom.
Right.
Knowledge might be losing its value as a commodity, but the wisdom, knowledge that's born of real experience, knowledge that's born of real pain.
Kinetic
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Kinetic knowledge, that knowledge that comes from the motion. Right. That will always have value. Our ability to perceive that is always going to be valuable. So if you can perceive the value of all of these fly-ass conversations that are being had, if you can perceive the value of being in a quantum reality, where as soon as you think it, you blink it, oh, there it goes.
Right.
If that's what you want, 72 claws is how we get there. This is the beta test of a new world. So join in on the beta test, get in early, you know what I'm saying? Be one of those first round investors in the Manifest Destiny. Live and direct from the mothership. This not gonna be on some other shit. Worry, ma. Kakugachi one day, oh.
Indeed. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So I just want to leave y'all with a little itinerary of what you have to look forward to this strong end at 72 Claws Miami. It is going to be broadcasting from Zoom. This is an online only demonstration. Even if you're in work at Friday from 12 to 8, when you get out, fret not. This presentation, we are recording it. We will start on Friday from noon to 8 p.m., Saturday, noon to 8 p.m., Sunday, noon to 4 p.m. And then we will be, we have Q&As, we have panels, but there's slots on each day where different teachers will be coming up. They will have 2-hour and 1-hour slots to present what it is that they're presenting. Our headliner is Original Black God. He is on Sunday. He will be closing out. And we also have our headliner, Brother HERU OFORI ATTA. He has Saturday, and he's going to be doing his thing and whatnot. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is for creatives. This is for business owners. This is for my brothers and sisters that are on the fence, trying to figure things out. You know, this is for the people who have the tools but don't know how to use them. Similar to somebody who might own a Bugatti, but you haven't been taught the instructions on how to properly break it in. That's where the experts come in, because we are actually breaking these tools in and pushing it to the limit, and we'll let you know what works versus what doesn't work. So we have Original Black God in the building, HERU OFORI ATTA in the building, HITSUYO Aku in the building, Spin City in the building, Mansa Isa Muhammad in the building, Red Pillar in the building, H Factor in the building. We're gonna go through AI, filmmaker, content creation, wealth and health, content, travel agency, Farming AI, We're going to be talking about systems and tools and all of this techie stuff, but also we're going to be breaking down an automated content pipeline. You're going to see that in real action, in real time. You're also going to see a open source music maker AI. You're also going to see and be introduced to the Imaginarium OS, amongst so many other things. Ladies and gentlemen, you have no idea what we're putting together. We will see you on Friday, we will see you on Saturday, and we will see you on Sunday. Make sure y'all are in the building. Let me go to this commercial for the Miami clause that we have put together, and yeah, let's check this out. We'll be right back.
Is a major issue. Even Demetrius said, can't take it with you. Money is a major issue. Even Demetrius said, can't take it with 7-2 claws. We got 7-2 nobles who can make with you. Bread in the oven, we can bake it with you. Open AI made you open your eyes. Now to sunroof, open the skies. All white linen like the Pope in disguise. The motion is live.
We're here to make a change. We're here to make a difference. We're here to make a stand.
Moving on Ocean Drive, we riding horses, 400 Porsches, all black forces. We driving lamb chops from the sandbox of South Beach to the temples in Bangkok. Rubber bands pop, this is the boom bap that made the motherland rock. God, 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 God,
some light work, you know what I'm talking about? Some real light work, you know what I mean? Shout out to shout out to the Claws, man. Shout out to the Claws family, man. We are going to be turning up and turning things out. I heard that they might even be a preview of GT6 featuring the Claws cast, man. We outside.
Let me just say this real quick. You're literally demonstrating the value. You're demonstrating it. You know what I mean? Wow. You're showing the actual value, as y'all was saying earlier in the receipts. Like, if people don't see what's actually happening, and just one extra thing with the other brother that was saying, there's actually a thing in the AI space where they've said that knowledge, general knowledge it's over. It's the AI knows it.
Right,
but specialized expertise, like if you've specialized in something, they want you. They're hiring people who have specialized knowledge in a particular thing, because that's the only thing that could move the needle right now with AI. But you're demonstrating the value. You know what I mean? That's an excellent, excellent commercial for sure.
Nah, good looking, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here, I do want to remind y'all that coming up next Wednesday, we are going to be popping out with our brand new monthly workshop featuring HITSUYO, Aku, and Red Pillar, all right, called Get Money. Stream Chasers present Get Money. And yeah, that's what it's all about. You know, we're going to show you how to utilize GitHub as a portal to quote unquote, not just get money, but get things in order, get the business in order, get the get the brand in order, just get things in order. Like, we have not been taking full advantage of what it is that these people have set up for us. So we're gonna interpret it for you, no problem. We are going to come through and we're gonna show you some of the things that you may have never seen before, and we're going to show you the power of GitHub, and we're also going to show you the power of open source and the repos. You could call our new names of the repo man. You know what I'm talking about? So we having fun, and we want you to have fun with us, ladies and gentlemen. But it starts on Friday, because really, money is a major issue, is the precursor to get money. The same way that Final 9 to 5 is a precursor to the Imaginarium. So everything is connected, ladies and gentlemen. And then next week, Houston, we have a solution. Spence City, take us out real quick, my brother. Let us know what we have to look forward this strong in for the 72 clause with my good brother Spence City coming through, dropping bombs.
These the folks.
We hanging it up. Yeah.
Good mix, good talk,
we
man.
landed the plane. There you go, right there.
Handle a bit of business. So yeah, y'all. They say AI is taking the jobs. We're gonna prove that AI is giving the jobs. Okay. It's gonna be a magnificent time, man. Check out the team. Check out the KT All-Star. Here, I got a message. I got a message for the people more than pitching the thing.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all realize how everyone's been speaking, I would agree that this is some of the top 10, top 20, top 100 people in artificial intelligence in the entire culture. And that's being, what is that, gracious? It's being
modest.
It's being. I think if there was a top 10 for the culture,
right,
for the whole squad. But I say the whole culture. You got melanin in your skin in abundance. There's very few people at this level of creativity, ingenuity, innovativeness in the artificial intelligence lane. Me and Monster broke down a conversation that was probably so high level, you couldn't even realize that he just invented something new right in front of you, because he was able to line up with another scientist. I said earlier, it's not rocket science until it is.
It's not rocket science until it is.
It's not rocket science until it is, family. So the thing is, y'all, it does, to make monumental leaps, monumental bounds, we do need the people. We realize we a cold team. We use AI at the highest capacity. We create AIs. We develop. It's a thing about being an engineer. It's a thing about being a developer. Is we make it from the ground level. That's why we're able to have these conversations. So please get in the room with us. Please tell the world what you've seen, what you heard, what you felt when it comes to Know the Ledge AI, when it comes to Brother HERU AI, when it comes to Ponce AI, Spin, Red, Hit, Giant, Blue, H Factor. When you hear it, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, y'all. Please. The machines, they cost. The knowledge, it costs us. And I'm just saying, y'all, for us to stay at this level, it does cost. There's sacrifice happening. There's things happening behind the scenes to make it seem so simple. Peace to the family, man. Get money in a GitHub. We're gonna also bring in, I was telling you earlier, you get your GitHub, you get your Hugging Face, and this shit that we talk, man, what? In the middle of the AI accelerator, man, we talk GitHub, man. We're talking Hugging Face, man. AI Google Studios also. Again, the machines cost, the AI cost, they do get up there so we can use it again at the highest capacity as scientists, highest level of Grok, highest level of GPT. Y'all help us out. Y'all help us stay, abreast and sharp at the cutting edge of technology. And for sure, we gonna always share it and give it out to y'all. All right, peace to the family, man. Peace to you and yours, man. Get money, 72 clause, AI accelerated, original black guy shit, red pillar shit, blue pillar shit, biotech, fintech. We in it, we spin it, because we in the winning, man. Peace.
Peace. All right. Salute, y'all. Let me get that man his bombs. So, yeah, man, y'all heard the good brother. All right. It's time to cook. You know what I'm saying? We presented to you the Ghost Kitchen. We showed you all of your chefs, you know what I mean? And we laid out the menu. So you know what's on your plate. You know what type of food for thought is being cooked up for you, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, I ain't gonna hold you. We got work to do. All right. Peace, love, and light. Thank you all for coming through, Brother HERU, Brother Mansa. Okay. Salute.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace, love, and light, y'all. AT aliens. Salute, man. right? Theta Waves, 1,000. Y'all hit that QR code, go get your tickets. All right, we'll see you in the building.
Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bumps we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields. And interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and developments like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube. And fade to black, here the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual, Clarence 13X, a worthy guest. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North Mex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson.
The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers. Fabric softener, jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch stores type. For that soft white, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like Porsche lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, they're scorched tight. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descendant of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Bless.